we are live. I'm live on Facebook. I'm live on Instagram. We're doing the dual thing again today. And, when I first started doing lives and reels and stuff, it takes a minute to get used to talking to yourself on camera. And it's funny because I'm doing the Facebook one on my iPad and my face is like so big. Hi, Joby. Good to see you. Or see your name. So today I wanted to come on here and talk a little bit about the one-on-one coaching I do, the coaching around mindset. Because this work is the most rewarding work I've ever done. Getting to work with clients in this way, it's the work that literally changed my life, that allowed me to go from this place where I was stuck with not being able to heal, not being able to lose weight, with being in a really crappy mindset where I was not happy. I just wasn't experiencing joy in life. And honestly, I just kind of accepted that that was normal because so many people would have the same complaints or the same issues. And I just kind of accepted that that's how life would be from now on. And I'm so glad that I continued to push and continued to look for a different answer and really stayed curious, because let me tell you, life can be different and it is amazing when you can get on the other side. So if you know my story, you know that I suffered from all sorts of chronic symptoms for a period of 10 years. Symptoms that are very common, like insomnia, brain fog, fatigue. I had hormone imbalance. I didn't have a cycle for 10 years, but I thought I was an athlete, and that's just what happens when you work out a lot. I had really bad gut issues, constipation, bloating. I was depressed and had anxiety at the same time. I had weight loss resistance. I couldn't change my body. I couldn't get myself to lose weight no matter what I was trying. And I tried for 10 years, like I said, to heal these symptoms. I focused on the gut health. I focused on the hormone imbalance, the only way I knew how, which was diet, which was exercise, which was a crap ton of supplements, which was so many different protocols I worked with. I can't tell you how many functional medicine doctors, integrative medicine doctors, chiropractors. I mean, you name it, I tried it. What I don't talk about a lot is how much my mindset impacted this journey, where my mindset even was, and mainly because I wasn't aware. I don't think unless we hear this message that we're aware of how we talk to ourselves and how much that influences our life and our behaviors. If I'm honest, and I'm going to actually be really raw and honest with you on this live, I hated myself. Here I was a health coach. I was a CrossFit athlete. I was competing in Krav Maga, a high-level athlete. I was supposed to be lean. I was supposed to be healthy. And here I was, I couldn't fix myself. I couldn't lose weight. I felt like a fraud. I had so much shame and guilt. I told myself how terrible I was. I had the worst negative self-talk, limiting beliefs of like, who are you? What do you think? How do you think you can be a coach when you can't even fix yourself? And like I said, I lost hope that I would ever find the answer. I had repressed trauma, repressed emotions. I didn't know how to process emotions. I didn't know why it was even important. I ate myself happy. I drank myself happy. And then I hated myself after it. My habits felt so out of control. I knew what I should do or what I was trying to do, but I just wasn't doing it. And honestly, food and alcohol were the only things that were bringing me joy. I shouldn't say that. That's not fair. It felt like food and alcohol were the only things bringing me joy on most days. And so why would I give them up? I didn't see my bad habits. I didn't see the overeating or the constant snacking or the binge restrict cycles I was doing. I only saw that I was eating a lot of protein, that I was eating vegetables, that I was working out every day. I was doing everything right, or so I was telling myself. But that only led more towards the feelings of frustration and anger at my body. Why wasn't it responding when I was doing everything right? I lived as a victim for many years where I blamed my health and my circumstances and my weight loss resistance on my ex, on my situation, on the doctors that couldn't fix me. They weren't good enough. I was doing my part. Why couldn't they? Except this mindset, this thinking, this is coming from a place of fear. It's coming from a place of lack and not taking self-responsibility for where my life was. And again, when we don't take responsibility for our part in things, that just leads to feelings of frustration, out of control, and all of these things keep our bodies locked in this heightened state of alarm, of threat, of not feeling safe. Have you ever almost gotten in a car accident? Or had to give a speech, stand up in front of people, or do a Facebook Live or an Instagram Live? Or heard some really bad news? These things trigger our stress response. We feel it. Our heart rate goes up. Our blood starts pumping. We've got kind of tunnel vision. We start sweating maybe. On the inside, our body's releasing this chemical cocktail of hormones, which is making this stuff happen. It's mobilizing resources to run or fight or do what we need to survive. Here's the thing I've learned, guys. Our mind doesn't know the difference between things like this that happen in real life, like really narrowly missing a car accident, or your thoughts. Your thoughts have the exact same physical, chemical, hormone release just by thinking about stressful things. Fears about the future, financial worries, staying in a relationship that isn't working. Also, shame, guilt, hating yourself, anger, frustration, overwhelm. Guys, these emotions have the same ability to release those hormones, cortisol, adrenaline, epinephrine. And we don't even realize it anymore. This is the kicker. We don't even realize it because it's become so normal. Our stress response is just chronically triggered day in, day out, mainly because of our thoughts. Because of every time we walk past a mirror, we are disgusted with ourselves. Because how much we won't forgive ourselves for things, or how much we live in the past in regret or worry about the future. These things keep us chronically in that heightened state where we're producing cortisol so much that it becomes normal. We don't feel stressed out because we're always stressed out. It is now the new normal. And even though we don't feel it, our body is telling us. It's telling us in your inability to sleep, losing hair, hormone imbalance, gut issues, low energy, afternoon crashes, inability to focus, lack of motivation and desire. These are all signs and symptoms of chronically high cortisol, of being stuck in this stress response. And when we're stuck in that response, our blood sugar is elevated. Insulin becomes chronically high. And when insulin is high, we don't burn body fat. We are in storage mode, if you've heard of that. We're storing everything. We can't burn fat for fuel. We've lost metabolic flexibility, which means weight loss isn't happening. And also we're not able to get into a state where our body can heal. We are catabolic, which means breaking down. That means you're not going to see relief from these symptoms. Just by thought alone. Let that sink in. Just by our thoughts, I'm not good enough. I can't do it. Nothing ever works for me. Life is hard. It's unfair. These thoughts keep you in that state. They keep you overweight. They keep you sick. They keep you unhappy. And guess what? Guess who controls your thoughts? You do. We just need some tools. So back to my story. In 2010, my husband at the time was sent to jail for 15 years. This is literally the point where I can look back and pinpoint all of my symptoms started. I was in shock. I couldn't fathom that this would really happen to me. Like, how could this, there's no way that could happen. And my symptoms started small. Missing a night of sleep, waking up a little bit early, being a little bit constipated one day out of the week, having a little bit less energy. But the more I ignored these symptoms, the louder they got. This event for me was so traumatic that it sent my nervous system, it got locked in this state of shock. I don't know what to do was the story I kept repeating, the words I kept repeating. I didn't know how to process emotions or how to process this event, which P.S., processing your emotions is just about feeling them. Emotions just want to be felt and acknowledged, and we feel them in the body, not the mind. We can't think through our emotions. We process them in the body. And I did everything I could not to feel my emotions. I did everything I could to bury the emotions around this because it was so embarrassing. I had so much shame, guilt, resentment, anger. Drinking made me feel better. Eating made me feel better. Shopping made me feel better. Social media made me feel better. Anything I could not to feel, but the longer I didn't feel, the more I hated myself for those behaviors, number one, and the louder my symptoms got. Eventually, they got so bad, I had no choice. For 10 years, I chased relief from these symptoms. I would see a doctor for the hormones. I would see a doctor for the gut health. I would see a doctor for the anxiety and the depression. I was put on so many protocols for each one of these. I would see some relief sometimes, but I always ended up right back at square one, sometimes worse. And I did stumble on some mindset work. Mindset is just a story that you're telling yourself. It's how we view the world. It's how we view ourselves. I journaled. I took some courses. I knew these emotional events in my life. I knew where my triggers were. I knew these were my problems. I talked about it. I even went through meditations where you go back to your younger self and you give your younger self a hug and you give yourself grace and forgive yourself. These didn't work for me. They weren't helping me get over the situation. I was still stuck. I like the analogy of your nervous system puts a bookmark on these events, these traumatic events, and trauma is just anything that overwhelms your nervous system's capacity to cope. So that can be anything. It doesn't have to be what is somebody else considers trauma. Trauma is what overwhelms your nervous system's ability to cope. And it places a bookmark there. It says, I never want to feel like that again. I never want to go through that again. Let's stay away from any situations that are similar to this. And this is where triggers are formed around highly emotionally charged events or traumas that we have in our past. And it's meant to keep us safe. It's meant to keep us from ever having to feel that way again. However, it keeps us stuck. That bookmark keeps our nervous system on high alert until we can process it and let it know, hey, we're safe. You don't have to still be so afraid. Not that you're denying the event happened or you're not acknowledging it. It just doesn't need to impact you on the same level that it did when it first happened. For me, it wasn't until I found Enlifted, which is the mindset certification. I'm a level 2 coach, that I was able to release this bookmark and the feelings of shock and I don't know what to do and not feeling safe that were tied to it, because that's what was keeping my body, not allowing it to lose weight or to heal. It unlocked a healing in my life that I am forever grateful for, because once I started to heal mentally, physically, emotionally, I was happy. I started to dream. It's the only reason I'm sitting in this van in Page, Arizona, just having had the 2 most amazing adventures that I've had in a while. This is the basis for the one-on-one work I do with clients now, and it's also included in my upcoming program that launches this Wednesday, PS. We start with, where are you struggling the most today as an adult right now? What's limiting you? What's frustrating you? What's overwhelming you? Where are you stuck? And then we find these bookmarks from your past that have created these stories that are keeping your nervous system triggered, and we take them through a 4-step process. The 4-step process is so simple and so effective. Number 1, you title the event and you write it out like you're telling a story. This isn't journaling about your feelings around the event. You are literally telling the story. When things live in our head, they feel big, they feel scary. Where's the beginning? Where's the end? Ouch, that's the part that hurts. We're not able to process them. We try to think through them, and these things need to be felt. The only way out is through. When we feel it, we can release it. So step 1 is title it and write it out. Step 2, we read it. Read it out loud. Check in with the feels. How did that feel? Step 3 is you read it again a little bit slower. When we slow things down, we're able to see it differently. We create space and clarity. All of a sudden that story isn't in our face like it's happening to us just like it did in the moment. We see it maybe from somebody else's perspective. Yeah, that happened to me. Is it so bad? Is it still hurting me today? And the last part is what really helps you remove that bookmark. We read it one last time, adding breathing, deep breathing. The breath is the way that you are able to release. The breath is the exhale. The exhale is the release. Breathing allows you to shift into the parasympathetic, rest and digest, more relaxed state where you can take that story and not let it still affect you like it was in the past. We're actually doing a whole breathwork session in my upcoming course that I'm super excited about. It's an amazing gift that I'm going to be able to give you guys. So taking that story from this place of fight or flight, it's causing this stress response. As we each read and then we add the breath, it creates space and clarity. It takes that story from something that is happening to you today to something that you can look at that did happen, and it does not have the same hold and effect on you. It allows you to change your response, choose a different response as an adult. Guys, humans are meaning-making machines. We assign meaning to everything, especially emotionally charged events, especially negatively emotionally charged events. We make things mean. We're lazy. We aren't lovable. I don't know what to do. Nothing ever works for me. Life is hard. I'm not good enough. These are the meanings that we attach to certain events, and then we go through our whole life proving that meaning to ourselves over and over and over again until it becomes our identity. And guys, your identity is what drives all of your behavior. Your habits, your behaviors, your actions, the things that you do every day are driven by how you see yourself. And friends, you will not make lasting changes to your behaviors, which is how you get your results in life. It's how you get the results with your body, with your health. It's how you attract relationships in your life, your finances, your career, your ability to make scary moves. Your identity drives all of this. You will not be able to change habits or do things differently until you're able to shift that identity. And it starts with the stories you're telling yourself. For 10 years, I was unwilling to consider that the solution to my problems or my suffering was me. It had to be diet. It had to be nutrition. It had to be, I had to find the doctor that was going to find the test that proved something was wrong with me and then that we were going to be able to fix that. It wasn't until I got curious and allowed myself to consider another option that I found mindset work. That I recognized how poorly I was treating myself and talking to myself and how that made me feel every day. And so here's my hope for you. If you've been doing things one way, searching for the answers with your physical body, and you're not getting the results that you desire, can you get curious about something new? Can you be open and willing to explore? Maybe it's mindset. Maybe I need to shift my thinking. How do I do that? What works for me? What resonates for me? Words have power, my friend. They make us feel a certain way. And when words are repeated often, which 90% of our thoughts are the same every single day, which means our future can never look anything other than like our past, because we keep repeating the same thoughts and stories from our past to create the same future. We get the same outcomes in life. Guys, change your words, change your life. Change your story, change your life. Change your identity, change your life. If this resonates with you, ladies, I would love to chat about working together, either in a one-on-one capacity or in the program that I'm launching on Wednesday, Keep the Commitment. Because how we do one thing is how we do everything. The answer to your weight loss resistance, to not following through on the commitments that you're making to yourself, to your relationship struggles, to financial struggles, to the lack of joy, happiness, passion, it's the same. It's the stories that we're telling ourselves, the words that we use to describe ourselves and what's possible for our future. You can elevate all areas of your life with this work. It is the most empowering work I've ever done, and I feel truly blessed. It literally makes the whole 10-year struggle journey worth it. It gives it purpose and meaning that now I can take everything I've learned about healing. Because yes, we do need the physical. We do need to move our body. There are better ways to look at and view nutrition to help and heal our metabolism. However, the things that are leading to the behaviors with diet and exercise, the reason that the health industry frustrates me so much is because we keep trying to tell people how to change their habits or what habits to do. Well, why can't, you just suck. You're just lazy. Why can't you just change your habits? I'm telling you what to do. There's no work to help you shift your identity, because that's what dictates your habits. That's why I put Keep the Commitment together, this coaching program, because it effectively helps you with all of that. We first build belief in yourself again. I get you to understand why you're not following through on all these small commitments that you're making. We talk about how do you shift your identity? How do we change our habits? And then we talk about the habits that will best serve you. So if any of this resonates and it's something that you want to explore, I would love to have a conversation. I don't want anyone in this program that it's not a good fit for, and I will tell you that. The coaching program is ladies only. The one-on-one work I work with men and women. So if you would like to explore either of those options, just shoot me a comment below. Comment KTC for the program. One-on-one if you want to talk about one-on-one sessions, or just send me a DM. I'm super accessible to you guys, and having a conversation is not a commitment to anything. It's just to explore, just to get curious and see what might be a good fit for you. All right, guys, have an amazing day. Much love.